Hello, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us tonight, and we are bringing back the Worldwide Stereo Hi-Fi Happy Hour. It is Thursday. It's 5 o'clock, so let's get going. We got a phenomenal show here for you tonight. Really special. It's going to be a exclusive product launch. I'm not going to tell you what it is quite yet, but I got to tell you, I have our friends from Klipsch on again, and something you may or may not know about, but it's a kind of an interesting partnership. McLaren Racing. That's right. McLaren Racing from F1 is also here. And there's an interesting partnership that Klipsch and that they have a product launch that's kind of coming together. I know it doesn't make sense right now when you think about it, but trust me, we're going to make it all make sense. And to top it off, that product, if you haven't already, you have until, let's put the cutoff at 5:50. All right, 5:50 p.m. Eastern time to head over to my website and enter to win two. Okay, we're gonna give away two of these products. All right, so you can only win one, but we're gonna give away two of them tonight. All right, so you have again until 5:50 p.m. Eastern Standard Time to log in to my website and register to get into that prize. So it's gonna be pretty cool. You're gonna want to do that if you haven't already. This is a Hi-Fi Happy Hour. So let us all know out there if you're having a drink, a cocktail, a beer, an IPA. I myself, I am supporting a local brewery to me here. Okay, it's from Bucks County, and this is Warwick Farms. So thank you so much. I had a buddy. Wait, the light's on it bad. You can't really see. Oh no. Let me get closer. There we go. Warwick Farm Brewing. It's a nice double IPA. I'll show it to you in the glass right here. It's nice and cloudy and very good. So thank you to Warwick Farms and my friend for making that happen. Fantastic. So I want to bring my friends in here. Like I said, I told you I got Klipsch. If you didn't follow yesterday, we had Klipsch in talking about Dolby Atmos and all the surround sound formats. But again, this is a special product launch. Okay, so make sure you head over. There it is. We just posted the links right there. I see to go over to enter that. So let's get my friends in here. I'm going to bring them in here and we'll get ready to go here. Hang on one second. Let me get them. What's going on, everybody?
Hello, hello.
Hello, hello. And there we go. We lost one. There we go. There's the man of the hour. There's the McLaren. There's Ben from McLaren. We got Vinny from Klipsch. We got Vlad from Klipsch. Thank you so guys for taking the time and joining our show here. Welcome to our audience here. We got, again, an exciting show for you. You guys all know me, Adam, Worldwide Stereo. I've been with them for about 11 years. You guys have been following me. I always appreciate all the support, so thank you so much for joining us. But I want to go around the horn here. Everybody introduce themselves, please. And if you have a cocktail or drink, you can call out what that is. Again, this is a happy hour, so let's have some fun. So, Vinny, why don't you go first?
Hi, my name is Vinny Bonacorsi. I'm from Klipsch Group. I'm the VP of Sales and Marketing in our APAC region, and I also head up our lifestyle product division, which these headphones fall under. And tonight, I'm drinking nothing fancy but a Corona Light. It's a nice summer day here in Indiana, so I needed something light.
Excellent. All right, absolutely, for sure. All right, Vlad.
So I'm Vlad Grodzinskiy. I'm a senior product manager at Klipsch. So we work to define the features, functions of the product, see them all the way into production, and work collaboratively with Ben, McLaren, Vinny, obviously you guys, Worldwide Stereo.
Thank
you. I'm coming at you with a New Belgium Voodoo Ranger, and it is a Juicy Haze IPA out of Colorado. So let's give it a shot. Full confession is that I bought a Costco variety pack of New Belgium beer, and then there were two that stuck, and these are it.
Well, you know, that's lucky for you, because I mean, we just recently, PA, loosened up those kind of laws and things like that. We can actually buy beer at grocery stores now, but I haven't seen it at Costco yet, so maybe that's coming.
Stay tuned.
Stay tuned, right? For sure. I did want to, where was it? God, there's so many. God, you guys, there's a lot of comments coming through. Keep them coming. But there's one. There it is from Scott. Shouting out to Klipsch saying best speakers ever. So awesome. There you go, Scott. Well, which ones do you have, Scott? Let us know. Which models do you have? I'm sure these guys would love to hear. I think I see some that, copperish, orange, bronze color behind you there, Vlad. What do you got going on?
So I have a 5.1.2 system with a couple of subwoofers, which is, as most Klipsch employees will tell you, a mix and match, as we've got samples of various center channels and surrounds that work. But I actually have RF82 Gen 2s for my front left and right. I have RP450C center channel speaker, which is, I got to say, is probably one of the best center channel speakers on the planet, and 2 subwoofers from totally 2 different vintages, a 10-inch subwoofer from that Reference Premier series line, and then another 10-inch series, which is called a C310 ASWI. Yeah, I got that memorized. That one's Bluetooth enabled, so while I'm sitting on the couch, I can turn it up and down and get a little rumble action going.
Side note here, I know we're here for a product where it is a happy hour. We just want to talk it out. Like, that is the coolest thing ever. I love that technology and that feature set in a subwoofer, because it's always so hard to set up and calibrate a subwoofer when the dials are always on the back. You're sitting in your chair, which I'm pointing over here because my chair's over there. The subwoofers are over here. It's like, okay, I need a little more, and you go up and back. No, but having the Bluetooth enabled control, totally cool. Totally cool.
It's the most important, I would say, for phase. Phase, you can never get really like figured out, and it's always 180 degrees, 0 degrees, somewhere in between. No, you can sit here and just kind of granularly dial it in, and it sounds just right.
Yep.
All right, enough about speakers for me for now.
Well, hey, we may stumble upon that later in some way, shape, or form. You never know. So, all right. So again, an interesting pairing with audio, dealing with a racing company. Ben from McLaren, welcome.
Yes, thank you guys for having me.
Sure.
I'm learning new stuff, Vlad. That was very informational. Thank you. Your whole living room is clear to me now.
And you figured out Google Chrome yesterday, so I mean, you're just like, climbing that ladder of technology.
Right. I've been on hold with Google technical support for the last 18 hours. Yeah, thank you guys for having me. My name is Ben Priest. I'm with McLaren Racing. I'm the senior vice president, look after the Americas region for our business. Work very closely with Vinny on pulling together this partnership in the early days. So excited to be here making an announcement to your audience, and excited to get this product out in the market.
Yeah. So I'm going to ask the question right now. I'm just going to get it out of the way here. F1 racing, IndyCar racing, NASCAR. I watch NASCAR. Yeah. So what is the difference? People probably come to you and ask you that question 100 times.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I think when we're out having conversations about racing, we talk sometimes with people who are 10 of 10 on the knowledge scale. Mm-hmm. And there's times we'll be talking to executives at companies that may want to partner with us, where we're talking to people who literally don't know the difference between Formula One and NASCAR. So it's actually not a crazy question. Not a crazy question at all.
Right.
The sports are very different. We're racers at heart at McLaren. So we love NASCAR. We do some work in NASCAR, not as a team, but in the technology space. We just recently announced an IndyCar team. We're fully in IndyCar as well. But Formula One, really the key distinctions are Formula One racing is, first off, global. It's the largest sport in the world that isn't a quadrennial. So if you take out the Olympics and the FIFA World Cups, it's the most engaged sport in the world. The budgets are significantly higher, and it's a very expensive sport, and it's followed globally. But other than that, we turn right more often.
Ooh.
But we're racers, so we love them all, but they're all definitely very different.
And I think another big distinction is it's not a stock car series. I don't know if that was mentioned. That makes that's the world to, every constructor has to do their own work.
We build our car, every single piece of the car. Yeah. There's nothing that's stock, which also goes hand in hand with the budgets being much higher, right? It's a sport built on innovation. Mm-hmm. And we're building parts to the car every 17 minutes of every day, 365 days a year. So
that innovation that Ben talks about is really what drew us as a company to the sport. Obviously, when you look at the Klipsch brand being around since 1946, we've done quite a bit of innovating, and we continue to do innovating. We wanted to partner with a company that had very common values. And as we looked around and started discussing, this kind of organic relationship came out. I've known Ben for quite some time, and we started discussing just what this could look like. We weren't ever looking for, your traditional brand partnership where we go and slap a giant logo on a car or something. Obviously, we don't mind that additional brand extension, but we wanted a relationship where we had a partner that had unique values and we could both additionally add things together. And I think that really came out really well with the McLaren Group, and working with them has been an absolute dream, I think, for a lot of our company. I know there's quite a few excited employees about the opportunity to go to the McLaren Tech Center. We took a group over there in, what was it, Vlad? January or?
Yeah, no, February. Yeah, I think early February, right before all the lockdowns happened. And I remember you and me, Vinny, we were getting positioned. So we were, what was revealed to us was the MCL 35, the new car that is going to be racing this year. And at that time, Australia was going to kick off in a couple of weeks there. And we had to pose for a photo, and this is the first car. They just fired it up. There's no other body panels. They haven't even built the second car for Carlos Sainz or Lando, whoever would be the second driver. And we got so close to the carbon fiber components on the front wing that everyone just said, okay, just be very careful about where you step, because no other car, this is the thing that's going to Barcelona for the test. And if you step on it, we're going to be missing part of our aerodynamics package, and I think we'd get booted out. So luckily that didn't happen. But
that was good
advice for that photo with like kind of a weird smile, just hoping not to step on anything.
Yeah, right?
Yeah.
Well, apparently one of our viewers here, and Tim, he's already got it all figured out. So he says, hi from Montgomery County, PA. We watch F1 listening to our Klipsch surround sound system. So drop the mic. We're done. I think we can go. That's it. He just summed it up in all one sentence right there for us.
Well, I have to chug all three of these beers now.
Simultaneously.
Well, let me ask you a question first, and then you can. No, I'm just kidding. It's all good. All right. So let's let's get into again the history between these two companies, and I think we'll start with McLaren here. So Ben, so let's start with the history kind of the McLaren brand. That might help.
I think to go back to what Vinny said, this story that I'll kind of walk you guys through is one of the authentic elements to why a partnership made so much sense. Okay. I don't want to say that we knew this as we came into it, but as we started talking more, it became quite apparent. So the short version here for the folks out there, and again, I don't know who knows how much about McLaren, so I'll kind of give just a top level version.
Yeah, pretend nobody knows anything.
Yeah, sure. But McLaren was founded in 1963 by a New Zealander, Kiwi, Mr. Bruce McLaren. And what was quite similar to the Klipsch story and the founder, Paul Klipsch, was that Bruce was full on a tinkerer. So he was always innovating, always pushing the boundaries of what was next in his area of expertise, which was motorsport. And although we lose Bruce too early at the age of 32 in 1970, he left us with what was the foundation of the McLaren brand, which was that persistent pursuit of innovation. And that's truly guided us all the way through today. So through all the accolades that we've achieved, we still are inspired by that past of Bruce, from very humble beginnings, from blue collar work on the car to start with, all the way through to a technical expertise, then on to being a world-class racing driver, and ultimately then a businessman, entrepreneur, founding Bruce McLaren Motor Cars, which would go on to be the McLaren of today. So certainly similarities there, which would then spawn us into the success that we had, which was the second most winning Formula One team of all time, 20-time world champions, and the home to some of the most iconic names in motorsport, such as not only Bruce, but Ayrton Senna, Alain Prost, Mika Hakkinen, Lewis Hamilton, Fernando Alonso, all the way to our current drivers, Lando Norris and Carlos Sainz. So I think as Vinny and I started talking, it was clear that founder story, there were a lot of synergies there to Paul Klipsch.
Oh, yeah. And didn't, I remember this past weekend, Lando, you guys had a pretty successful weekend, didn't you?
Yes. So we kicked off the Formula One season. Obviously, due to COVID, there was no racing for the last few months. Yeah. So we kicked off the season in Austria, the Austrian Grand Prix. And yeah, we had a big weekend. So we got a surprise podium. Lando, our 20-year-old young rock star, finished third. And it was amazing. We all did virtual celebrating. But you know, it's going to be an interesting year. You know, our competitors, again, for everybody out there that follows the sport closely, the top 3 teams, you know, we still certainly have a gap to those top 3 teams. And the midfield, which, you know, we finished as the 4th best team last year, so we won that midfield battle. It's going to be extremely challenging this year, and we think it's going to be even tighter than last year.
Okay.
So we're all kind of zipping up our boots and getting ready for it.
Fantastic. Well, let's have a nice big cheers there for that 3rd place podium finish for your first race.
Thank
Congratulations to that. Cheers. So, like we said together, I mean, it's a race team, McLaren, and it's an American audio brand in Klipsch. What made you guys come together, really?
Yeah, I mean, Vinny, I think I can start that one off, I think, more broadly. And that's I think kind of going back to what we were saying, we are a race team, but really at our core, we're a technology company. And we're all about innovating. So whether that's from materials to data transfer to trying to solve the challenge of, you know, kind of innovating the communications between our race team on the pit wall back to the mission control center and then on to our drivers. The decibel level that's trackside in Formula One is sometimes over 130. It's extremely high. So there truly is a performance advantage to having an appropriate, you know, an audio partner. And I think that's where it all started. And then from there, you know, we've built it out a long way since then when we first started talking. I guess it was late last year. So,
yeah. So, I mean, the really cool part about this partnership and having this is uncovering kind of our histories. You know, you have McLaren born in the 60s. They had this bootstrapping type of founder, and Bruce McLaren, who started in a garage in New Zealand, like Ben said. And then you tie that into the Klipsch story, which has the same kind of humble roots that started in a tin shed in Hope, Arkansas. And you tie those two things together, and how these 2 unique individuals that were known for this wild side had this, you know, amazing history of innovation and building these 2 legendary brands. So you tie that in together, then you tie in the current world of F1 and how they're able to rapidly develop products and take a lot of the technology they do from the racing side and apply it to a number of different industries. We just thought it was a really unique way to highlight some of the things we've done that have been kind of non-acoustically related, and some of our ambitions into the future to keep leading in these new categories. And there's a perfect synergy of engineering and marketing right there to be able to highlight with both brands.
All right. So it's starting to make a lot more sense for sure. I heard Ben mention, he said, you know, race trackside could be, you know, 134 decibels of sound. And folks out there, if you don't, let me just wrap your head around that number for a second. 134 decibels. So if you were at a recent, well, not recent, but the last time you were at possibly a rock concert, all right, concerts average around 115 decibels of sound, maybe 120 on the higher side. And that's some of your really loud rock bands when they really try and crank it up. So if you can imagine 134 decibels, every 10 dB is almost twice as loud as that. So that's pretty insane, the amount of volume that you have at an F1 track at any given time. That's insane.
Yeah, it truly is. Anybody that's been trackside at F1, and what's even crazier is that prior to these new regulations in Formula One, that decibel level used to even be higher. So it's quieter for us now trackside than what it used to be.
Right. So you have, you know, so you certainly have the background, but it goes a little bit further, doesn't it? With some of these points like that you put together here as far as why you guys, you know, so you have the synergy of the two lines here. So is that something about a team soundtrack and being race ready, that kind of stuff?
Yeah. So we created this concept with the drivers, right? And obviously, as you're getting prepared for, going in really a rocket ship that around a track, the drivers obviously need to be calm and get into the right mindset as they get race ready, as we call it.
Okay.
And there's really no better way to get race ready than to throw on, your favorite music, your favorite your favorite soundtrack, and close out all the outside noise. And,
sure.
And with our headphones and our different products, we really can surround the drivers with that real experience to close out all of those noise, all of those, fans in the future or in the past, not this year, but get everybody ready and cocoon those drivers.
Okay. Very nice. So I guess I've always said it, when you listen to music, it kind of, separates you from life or whatever, or focuses you. So that's really cool to be able to do that.
Yeah.
So tell us more about the McLaren engineering and the high output of the F1 technology. What's the technology behind some of this stuff? I guess that's Ben, right? Ben's probably a good answer for that one.
Yeah. So, I think we're still there's definitely going to be different phases, right, to all of our collaboration. So for us, there's all sorts of different areas to collaborate across lightweight material, and then also testing product in such a relevant space, right? So from an R&D standpoint, being able to test these products trackside, we feel like is going to be a great test bed. And I think these guys can touch more on kind of some of those specific areas where technically the McLaren team will be able to make differences in the products.
Anybody? So I guess did you have these products at the last race that we're about to talk about soon?
I think the team had some early production volume product, so it wasn't. It's similar to what you have, Adam.
Okay.
No finished product has shipped yet, but everyone's been able to get a sneak peek, so to speak, including Lando Norris himself. He had an opportunity to work out with them, put them in his ears, feel them around, see how they feel. But yeah, absolutely. I think what McLaren brings to the table is, just with anyone that's racing, you want to go faster, you want to be reliable, you want to have control. All of those things essentially apply to most of the products we build. So I think it makes a lot of sense to have this high stress environment where whether it's the athletes or the drivers stressing themselves regularly. These guys, when I was watching the race in Austria last weekend, they made the choice to not have a water bottle system, and that blew my mind. It's something like 90 degrees outside, and inside of the car, it's not any cooler. That's for sure.
That's for sure.
Yeah. They're going for what? Then 2 hours at full, and experiencing upwards of 5G going through corners. I saw a little behind the scenes with Lando, and he said that last 2 laps, when he would hit the back straight, his lips would stick together because he was so dehydrated at the time.
I didn't see that. I haven't seen that one myself. That's
you gotta watch the tape again there. My Lord.
Yeah.
So there is another cool concept that we worked on with the McLaren team. So anybody who watches, especially Lando Norris or any of these young drivers, or even some of the more seasoned drivers, simulators have become everything in Formula One. And McLaren is working on a state-of-the-art simulator at their tech center. Okay. And one way we're working to more deeply partner is to bring that feeling of being in the car through the audio performance that we can do, and really build them a custom system around these simulators so that they can really feel it while they're in the racing simulator at the tech center.
Yeah.
So just to be clear here, my buddy here, what's up, youth man? Did they say they were giving away a McLaren? I have room for one in my garage. I promise I'll drive responsibly. No, we didn't say that. No, I don't recall. I'll rewind and watch that again, but I'm pretty sure we didn't say that. But but
if that's sign up and
just give one away. Ben, on average, Ben, what does an F1 car a McLaren F1 car cost, or if you can say, or I don't even know if you can. I'm sorry, put you on the spot.
No, I actually don't even know the answer to that. I'll be totally honest. We there's never been one sold, right? Like,
right.
Running. I guess you would just go make a market, and I'm sure there'd be somebody out there willing to pay a significant amount, but
I'm sure.
Don't know the answer.
Yeah,
that's crazy. I'm sure it's got many dots after it.
Yeah.
Decimal places.
Just started an eBay for current F1 cars.
Yeah. See if Amazon can get it here in 2 days for me. Right? All right. So remember, folks, head over to our website. You have a little bit of time left to actually register to win one of these things we're about to give away. And I don't know, Vlad, I think it's about time we kind of drop that bomb of what the new product launch is here. I think, are we ready?
I'm ready. Let's do this.
You're ready? We're all ready? All right. Hang on 1 second. Here we go. Yeah.
Thomas McDonald, way to call it. In-ear, true wireless IEMs. You got it. Spot on, man. Before the video, too. Why do you just have to drop it like that?
Wow, I got a lot of people that were commenting there during that video that was coming across. So yeah, absolutely, folks. This is the McLaren version Klipsch T5 Series 2 wireless headphones, and they've certainly made a ton of improvements to these. The design and the engineering working, you can now understand a lot more why they brought McLaren in, because of their how they're able to make things on their own, and how Klipsch and all the synergy between the two brands is just amazing. So if you didn't know already, the T5 headphones, the originals, I did a nice product review on. It's on our YouTube page. You want to check that out. But I think we're going to speak to a lot of the improvements, obviously, that they made with these. And there's the specifically the McLaren version. So Vlad, if you had to picture one thing, what's the biggest improvement with the McLaren version here?
Well, it's a little hard to say, but this sort of speaks to the McLaren partnership. Is when we looked out in the market for what we think a sport headphone should do, considering sport, motorsport, all of the above, we couldn't really find one. We can differentiate the difference between sport headphones and non-sport headphones and everything in between. And this, clearly, you could tell is something a little bit different in the fact that, I mean, fundamentally, the case is an area where we really thought through the product. And this is where it really applies for McLaren or Formula One or just anybody in general that's going to work out, that's going to go on adventures, that's going to travel a lot. It's going to have to throw these things into their bags. That's going to have to deal with the elements, whether it's hot, cold, wet, dry, dusty, dirty, work on their car, any of those things. So, I mean, if I had to pick one thing that we actually made a major improvement on, and overall competitively, it's the best, I would say, is antenna performance. But that's wholly unrelated to why this product exists and what are some of the key features of it. But I think antenna performance needs to be mentioned just in general, because if you go and read any reviews of any true wireless earphones on Worldwide Stereo, Amazon, I mean, you name it, the first issue that somebody runs across is usually they're walking outside, or they're in the subway station, or they're out on a run and the earphones cut out.
It happens to me all the time. When the wireless versions that I have here and cutting my lawn, it just every now and again another pass, like it just cuts out. So I'm glad you're bringing this up, because it's certainly something I've personally experienced.
Yeah. So there was an evolution. We actually took a step back and we were like, okay, well, competitively, here are all the different options of antennas that you can use, and here's what AirPods uses, and here's what Sony uses, and here's what some of these other kind of class leaders use fundamentally. But then we actually looked at smartphones, and there was like a key transition period where there was an evolution in smartphone antenna technology, and that was when the antenna left the inside of the phone and went to the outside. Once it went to the outside of the phone, besides, Apple's little like antenna gate situation that I think some of us may remember. Beyond that point, once they were tuned, calibrated, all of those things, it actually had a lot of advantages. So what are the advantages of an antenna that's external? Well, you get the nice little cherry on top, which is now the exterior part of the earphone is metal, which is a lot nicer than plastic.
Yep.
But for phones, I think that's pretty important, having this like nice little side area that feels good. But beyond that is it saves a lot of space. So you can take that antenna, push it to the outside. Now I can occupy the inside space of the earphone with all the right things. I don't need the antenna there. And it also gives me 360 degrees of good performance, which is key, because anytime you're indoors, most of the time, in order to transfer a signal from left to right or from your phone in your pocket directly to your earphones, it's going to bounce off of a wall or some kind of surface. And most other technologies have a lot of like hotspots. So like maybe antennas are really good out this way, but they're not really good this way. So you can never really figure out what is driving this antenna performance to be really good. But this exterior antenna, even though it's really hard to build, because you have to specify everything before the product is actually built. So you have to do a lot of simulations, a lot of engineering, a lot of rinse and repeat type of processes, which I think actually correlates to McLaren really well.
I was going to say that, but you just
did. The car on track. All you've got is the data from last year, right? So it's like everything you're changing is just research, and simulation. So that's essentially what we did. We put this antenna on the exterior of the headphone. It works a heck of a lot better in all kinds of environments, especially the most difficult ones. And whether that be, I don't know, let's call it like the McLaren garage, where those guys are receiving 1.5 terabytes of data during the course of a race from various sensors. They've got 40 channels or more of communication inside of the garage. So, and they're all linked to mission control. Ben, am I revealing too much? Is there proprietary information? Am I going to get fired after this? Is this a problem?
No, you're good.
All right, good.
They're clear. You watch a lot of Formula One.
Maybe a little bit. Maybe a little bit. Yeah, I can honestly say I got way more involved once we had hands-on, and it is really spectacular what the team and those guys do on a week-to-week basis. And effectively, we're trying to match that level of performance with the T5 True Wireless Gen 2.
So a good question came in here for the Klipsch guys, and this is by Richard right here. He says, Klipsch is known as a speaker company. How does your unique sound translate into your headphones, and why are they distinguishable as your brand? Because that's in your video there where you show, the cutaway here with the headphone. It says, iconic Klipsch sound. So that's a great question.
So I mentioned I mentioned antennas. That's kind of step one. Yeah. We'll brush that aside. That's one of the differentiating things about these earphones. The third thing, and I'll get to the second one once we rewind. The third thing is sound and fit. So For a while, since the inception of Klipsch headphones, we have touted our patented oval ear tips. That's because we did research of ear canals, and as it turns out, everyone's ear canal is not round, it's oval. And at the time, everybody's ear tips were round, and square peg round hole principle, right? You can get better fit, better seal, better comfort with an ovaloid style ear tip. So that's what we developed. And I think sound and comfort are priority one for headphones in general. Anyone that's ever bought an earphone headphone, they want it to sound really good and they want it to fit without pain or discomfort. So the oval ear tip takes care of the comfort area. And even jumping from the first generation of our product to the second generation of our product, we've doubled the amount of ear tips that we include in the box. So
I saw that. I was when I opened up the sample here, it was like, you have small, little bigger, and then medium, a little bigger, and then large, and a little bigger, and that's like, so you had those in between steps, which are really nice. And the other thing that I was like, this is awesome, because I've always loved the design, is the little shark fin here. That I like to call that on the back here, which pushes against, well, I can't show you my ear, I have to go over here, but the back of the ear, and that really kept it in place. I put these things in and it was like, wow, that's snug and it's comfortable. So and lastly, and maybe you can speak to this too, the original T5s and the button press that you have here. Now the button press is really, really cool because you can't accidentally hit it. You have to intentionally, to use these buttons or these controls on these headphones, you have to press it. You have to want to press it. It's not a mistake that it happens. So that's awesome. And the original T5s versus these, like, it seems like it's easier to push that. Did you change something there?
Yes. So there was a lot of feedback that we got about, while we really like the fact that there's a tactile button as opposed to touch, capacitive touch. Anytime you're adjusting your ears or adjusting your hair, maybe adjusting your glasses, you have the chance of like mistouching a button. And there's that fact where we all touch our faces some amount of times per hour and we don't even realize it. It's almost similar with your ear. When you try to interact with the headphone and you want to play pause or you want to go to the next track, usually the first touch is you finding the earphone in your ear. Right. So if you have a capacitive touch button, you end up pressing the button and you're doing something that you didn't want to do. So there was a couple of things that we did also from a comfort standpoint. Ergonomically, we shifted the earphone so it's angled in the same way that your ear is angled. So now instead of pressing the button and pushing the earphone further into your ear, you're actually pushing against basically the side of your ear, which feels nice, doesn't change the way that it sounds. And we custom engineered a tack switch that is much less in sensitivity than, or much easier to press than the typical kind of 120 grams to 140 grams that is required to press into your ear. For your ear, that's kind of a lot of force. You might not realize it on a keyboard, but trying to push something into your ear, that doesn't feel really good. So now with the new generation, we've dropped that to about like 70 or 80 grams, which is about half of what it was before. So you can easily feel around, find the button, press it, make it do whatever it needs to do. It's kind of like a duh moment, but it really is important. Just like, and there's another podcast that we were on, and all the guys were talking about knob feel of the Fives speakers. So it's really important that a knob has the right amount of weight and has like the right feel to it, and it'll feel like a premium product. And I think a lot of the guys that are guys and gals that are on this chat probably know what I'm talking about. You get a cheap receiver about, and that it just has that clunky, crappy dial.
I think the standard was set way back in the day with Marantz and their tuners, and it was this knob that once you spun it to spin the tuner, the slider on the tuner would just and it was just this motion that went. So they kind of set the standard. So that's something to definitely talk about, is the knob feel of it to make it feel good. So that's really cool. And these are some awesome pictures you can that we can show you here, some better close-ups than trying to do like something like this and show the headphone like that of these. And you can see the design that really went into these things. And you'll see again the shark fin that I'm talking about and the buttons. And let's focus on the case here. I mean, these things have a was an IP67 rating on it, so
Yes,
they can really like. I mean,
Yeah.
this is definitely manufactured and marketed as a sport headphone. And at first, when I opened up the case, I'm like, why did they put the charge on the inside? And then when I realized what the rating on it was, that totally made sense after that. So speak to that a little bit for me.
So the case is, you'll probably find something similar to this, like a Pelican case, right? So it's got a positive latching case and a gasket on the inside that sort of correlates to the
right around the edge
sealing this product, right? Yeah, good way to point it out. The USB-C connector, yes, it's on the inside to protect from water ingress. Then also they have wireless charging, so it's invisible, but it's down here, and you set it on a wireless charging pad, and you're off to the races. I think there's some conversation I want to kind of rewind, and before we touch any more on the case, I want to talk about noise suppression, noise cancellation,
please,
kind of some of those things. I think it's pretty important to mention. So the T5 True Wireless earphones. We're introducing the T5 True Wireless Sport McLaren Edition. At the same time, we're launching the T5 True Wireless Gen 2, which is just an upgrade to our standard model earphone. Later this year, just like we revealed at CES, we will have a specific T5 True Wireless ANC edition that does active noise canceling. But what this product is for a totally different environment. First of all, our earphones noise isolate or noise cancel passively 26 to 30 decibels worth of noise. So active noise canceling headphones, they do a good job, but realistically, what is more important in canceling out noise that doesn't require any battery power or anything like that is having a great seal. So the fact that the earphones are smaller, there's more ear tips to custom fit them to your ears, and you can get them wedged in really nicely with the ear wings, with the ear tips, with the memory foam ear tip that we're including. You're going to get really, really good passive noise isolation. What we wanted to achieve with this earphone is, if you're not on the plane per se all the time and you need an active noise canceling unit, which these will do a great job for that as well.
Sure.
I think it's more important for this customer to have something that they can willy-nilly every day of the week throw into their bag, not worry about durability. When they go running or when they go camping, when they go adventuring anywhere, they can drop these things in water. It's the first case that's IP67 rated, not only the earbuds. So the earphones themselves, you can wash underwater and they'll be kept away from dust and dirt as well. But really, the case makes the difference. And I think the first True Wireless product that we made that has this nice little metal case and one-handed operation, that was kind of our claim to fame, right? So that was what really set people off. It's like, oh, it's not this little plastic box that you get with just about every other product. It's sort of an afterthought. The reason we made that case was when I was initially surveying all the other competitors that were out there, the first ones that I bought required the, like flip it open, and you have to keep it flat on your hand and take the earphones out. And I was doing this in San Francisco, and somebody bumped my arm, and I actually lost one of the earphones in traffic right away. So from that point on, it was like, oh, okay, well, we needed something that has one-handed operation where you can hold it really nicely in one hand. And then on the sport case, this thing latches shut. It has a nice strap so you can attach it to something. It has wireless charging, so even if it is dirty or wet, you can set it down and charge it still. And then it has this really kind of unique feature that we created a problem for ourselves by making a case that's watertight. We thought about it, and we're like, well, what happens when you work out and you take a set of sweaty earphones and put them inside of the case? How are those going to dry out in a watertight case? This thing's going to get kind of gross. So we built a moisture removal system into the lid of the case. So this top portion actually has silica gel, similar to like death packets that you have inside of like leather goods or nice shoes, things like that. And it's a removable piece. So this is the actual component. It has these little silica beads inside of it. The silica beads themselves are moisture removing, just like they would be in kind of your leather
shipment
goods,
or something.
right?
Yeah.
And it's also rechargeable. So you can throw them in the microwave for 30 seconds. Those beads will change color and go back to being able to remove moisture again. So those are some really unique features that the product brings. And
I did have a little question here that I want to bring up. You were talking about charging and things like that. Let's talk about the battery life. I think that came up in the video there, but certainly as one of these cases you would expect has some charge in it, plus the headphones. So what can we expect out of battery life of these things?
So you mean nobody was taking notes during that?
I know, right?
That video? I don't know. I'm disappointed here.
A little disappointed, right?
So you get 8 hours in the earphones themselves. You get 24 hours more in the case. So it total of 32 hours combined. And that's the same as the first generation T5 True Wireless. And we made the thing 25% smaller. So
that sounds like at least a round trip.
Yeah, we did that by increasing the battery energy density by 12%. And that might seem like not a really big number, other than to probably Ben at McLaren, because 12% of anything in a Formula One car is amazing level of improvement.
Yeah, one might be
that big.
Yeah, but the largest component in a true wireless earphone is the battery. So making one that increased the energy density and decreased the size was a big reason why we can decrease the size of the whole headphone about 25%. So 8 hours in the ear, 24 more in the case, total of 32. Charging wise, it can charge at 5 watts. The battery overall in true wireless earphones is rather small though. So just be cognizant of things that advertise like super fast charging, because that's going to degrade your battery. That being said, quick charge is a component of the earphones. So 10 minutes of charging, you get about 80 or 90 minutes of music, so an hour and a half or so. So they do charge up really fast. And, like Klipsch always does, we typically pick premium components, premium partners. These use a new series of Qualcomm Bluetooth 5 chips. They support aptX and AAC, so you're going to get the highest audio quality that you can possibly get in a true wireless earphone.
So on the note of Bluetooth and the version of there, this question came in that was good. How do you go about multi-device compatibility?
Okay, so you can pair to up to 8 devices, but not all at the same time.
Simultaneously, correct.
Yes. Yeah. So there's 8 devices in memory. There's only one device at a time that you can pair to. But switching is really, really easy. So you can pair up to those 8 devices, and that's what I typically do at home. I have a set paired to my MacBook Pro. I have a set paired to my iPhone, and it's also paired to my iPad. So what I typically do, and a Pixel 3, so 4 devices.
Okay.
Yeah, a lot of testing. So what I end up doing is I pair it to the first device, then I put them back in the case. I put them back into pairing mode again. I pair it to the second device, follow that same rinse and repeat process with all of your different devices, and it'll just reconnect to the last known device, the last one that you connected it to. So if you need to connect to another one, you go into Bluetooth, you hit disconnect, and now it's available to pair again, and you go to your iPad or whatever device of choice, and you hit pair, and you're good to go.
Okay, so that makes it pretty simple.
Yeah.
And there was, let me find it real quick because it was kind of.
Hey, Vlad, while he's finding this next question, how about we talk about that wireless charging pad you designed?
Oh, yes. So the T5 True Wireless Gen 2 McLaren Edition costs a little bit more money than our standard T5 True Wireless Sport. So our T5 True Wireless Sport is launching for pre-order July 10th, shipping to customers around about August 10th, and it's launching at $229. The McLaren Edition is $249. And what you get for that additional money you're paying is an included wireless charging pad, Klipsch McLaren custom wireless charging pad. So not only do you get, a brand book that tells you about the history of both brands, which I have here somewhere. That's so cool little brand book, and you get to see about the speed of sound and our product and our histories and the MCL 35, and then you get this cool little card that tells you the serial number and the date code that it was built, and it's got Klipsch McLaren's name on it. But you also get a wireless charging pad, which actually is what customers want when you pay a little bit more money for a product. So I think ultimately that wireless charging pad is a 5-watt charging pad. It has the same charging coil that's built into the bottom of these true wireless earphone cases, which means they're perfectly matched. So you're going to have highest efficiency, fastest rate, most reliable charging for this product. But it's not there to just only charge your true wireless earphones. No. It'll charge your phone and whatever Qi charging devices that you might have.
So just so people know, you just heard about the pricing and everything like that. You have like 1 minute left to enter to win these things. But we can let you know that they'll be available for pre-order, okay, starting tomorrow on worldwidestereo.com. And also the first 500 pre-orders, okay, that's a lot, 500, okay, are going to get a 30% off promo code off the McLaren Gear Store. So that's pretty sweet. I mean, the logo, just alone looks awesome by itself. So, but so again, pre-order tomorrow on worldwidestereo.com. The first 500 pre-orders will get the 30% off code for the McLaren Gear. All right. So, and you got, I don't know, maybe 30 seconds left at this point to hop on it and try and win those.
When you flash up that case and that hint of papaya, that whole papaya top, is my favorite.
You get the papaya ear tips too, and this is a show of all of the different ear tips. So, you know, typically you get small, medium, large. We went with small, small plus, medium, medium plus, large, large plus. So there's half sizes in between. And with oval ear tips, there's actually a major difference in a very small scale change. So what I found is that I've worn Klipsch medium ear tips for, I don't know, since I started buying Klipsch earphones, which was before I started working for Klipsch, like early 2000s. And in even that time, you realize that, oh wait, my ear canals are different sizes. So I have always had the choice of, I kind of have to stick with medium ear tips, and they fit better in my right ear than they do my left ear. So this is the first time ever where half sizes actually make a dramatic difference. And what I mean by that is typically when you step up from like a medium to a large ear tip, you can immediately tell, like, my ears hurt, I don't like it, I gotta go back down. And then you always end up in this area where if I sit still, these are really comfortable and are great. I think Vinny is one of these guys. I mean, you are more comfortable in a medium ear tip, but a large ear tip keeps the earphones in your ears better, and it just produces the bass that you typically want. So half sizes make a huge difference, and we invested in a little bit of tooling in order to get that size just right, so you can find something right for your ears that doesn't hurt and feels really comfortable and stays in your ears. I think there was one question out there as it pertains to warranty. So I want to mention that that's actually an upgrade as well from the first and second generation, that now it includes a 2-year warranty. And then we've also made some changes on the acoustic side of things. And what we currently use in the first generation T5 True Wireless is a 3.2 micron diaphragm. And that's for somebody that can't picture that size, the thinnest human hair is about 20 microns thick. So 3.2 microns is already rather thin for a earphone diaphragm. We dropped that another about 10%, so now it's 3 microns. That's incredibly thin for a dynamic driver, and the way that it's mounted, the goal of that is to give you the clarity of a much higher end set of IEMs in your monitors than any dynamic driver can typically give you. So I think there was a question out for, are there bass improvements? So yes, there are bass improvements because that 3 micron diaphragm is able to move quicker and with far more resolution. So you're going to get resolution and clarity just at a base level. And then beyond that, you have the Klipsch Connect app, which will let you customize sound to whatever you want to do. And that'll be launching alongside the product. So you'll have full EQ functionality, 5 bands of EQ, plus a bunch of presets that lovely folks at Klipsch created.
Yeah, so I'm glad you mentioned. I wanted to make sure we mentioned that. We're starting to get close to the end here, and wanted to make sure we mentioned the Klipsch Connect app and all the things you can do with that. I saw, an EQ adjustment, which is awesome because everybody likes to hear certain things differently, and so having that built in was pretty cool. So, there is an app for the headphones. Just to reiterate, I saw it come up a couple times. You can start ordering these tomorrow, and they will ship on August 10th. I think is the timing of when they will actually ship. And again, don't forget the first 500 people will get a 30% off coupon for McLaren gear, not a McLaren gear. Okay, not a McLaren, not the vehicle. Maybe a T-shirt, a hat, not the car. Okay.
All right. So
just laying that out there.
When I was talking about,
there's some really funny. Well, there's some really funny comments about free.
These are good.
They're fantastic.
Are you on a boat, Ben? I saw one on there.
Yeah, I saw. Are you on a boat?
No. Funky new home I have. It's a greenhouse. So.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, I look like I'm on a boat. I'm not.
You're not.
But I'm not. All right. Before we wrap it up, I have to mention, at least get through the 4 things that we made different or better, right? So I mentioned one, antenna. I mentioned.
One second, Vlad. I want to get to that. We have to mention the winners. I'm getting poked on the other side. We got to make sure we mention these winners because we have them. The winners are in. So I need to oh, very nice. Okay. Our winners are, I have Kevin Sweet from Minnesota, and I have Art Garcia from California. Again, Kevin Sweet from Minnesota and Art Garcia from California are our 2 winners. Congratulations. We will reach out to you. You will be getting Oh, absolutely. Cheers on that. Oh, we went to the sparkling line.
We did.
And we will reach out to you and get you those new T5 McLaren version headphones. Congratulations. Now you can go, Vlad.
All right, fine. All right, so I said 4 things, right?
4 things.
4 things. First thing, antenna. Third thing was sound and comfort with all the ear tips and that we covered. Right. Second thing is best microphone performance that you can possibly get. And that was through a lot of engineering, a lot of back and forth. It's very difficult to develop microphones for things that are so far away from your mouth. So we're using 2 microphones per each side. Mm-hmm. And we have a new beamforming algorithm that will block out the outside noise with the microphone in the back and focus in on the noise that's going out of your mouth. So best microphone performance is another area we really, really focused in on. And I think that was really critical and important because most of the, how product development works is you typically get some alpha, beta, pre-production samples, and you get them out to the entire team.
Yep.
And then what do we do during every single day? I mean, we're on Microsoft Teams, we're on Zoom calls, and we're testing microphone performance. And that is one area where I think Vinny could attest to this. Airports, you got to make sure they work well in airports because you're on conference calls all the time.
Sure.
In airports or when you're on the move or, prior to COVID, that was definitely the case. So regardless, point number 2, microphone performance. That was an area where we aimed for significant improvement. And you might be wondering what number 4 is, and that's lifestyle. And lifestyle is this kind of big net that we cast. But I think it covers wireless charging. I think it covers water and dust resistance. That high level IP67 is pretty unheard of outside of smartphones themselves.
Yeah.
Most competitive products will be in the IPX4 or maybe even IPX5 range, which means that, you can splash some water on them, but if you really have to clean them off, wash them off, or they have to be impermeable to dust, that's a no-no. And then also we saw that, like I said, the case is really important because even though you have maybe a good set of workout earphones that are going to resist water, the case that they go in is typically not rated for that. Which for somebody that's going to throw their earphones into their gym bag, kind of a problem.
Kind of a problem. Exactly. For sure. Wow. So this has certainly been an awesome event. I mean, again, just you wouldn't think of a company like Klipsch McLaren coming together, but now that we've heard the reasons why, it just makes so much sense. And I'm glad to have had all of you here this evening. Congratulations to our winners for sure. Guys, I've had the pleasure, you all know me, I had the pleasure of listening to these headphones and testing them out. First impressions were amazing with them. They fit beautifully. When I put them in, I just like Vlad was saying, I had that nice fit and that nice form factor. They took the button pressing into consideration, which was great. The sound quality is rich and full out of them. We also, I don't know if we mentioned, but they have a transparency mode, which is awesome. So you can press a button there, and now you can hear everything around you that's happening. So if you're walking in the city and you need to hear things that's happening at that time, that has that feature set as well. So really, really cool. I love what you've done. The case is beautiful. The design, the McLaren logo, love it. Sounds and looks great. So I think you guys knocked it out of the park. Again, congratulations to our winners. Those will ship on August 10th as well. Don't forget pre-orders. Those pre-orders start tomorrow. Okay, and those first 500 get that 30% off of the McLaren gear. McLaren gear, just so we're clear on that.
Awesome.
Yeah. Well, we're about to wrap it up here, guys. Anything you want to say before we leave here? I'll let you go around the horn here.
No, I really appreciate you guys having us. This was really fun. Great to see all the comments. We hope everybody really enjoys the product.
Cool.
Yes. Awesome. Thank you all for joining us. And side note, there's a lot of really great McLaren gear. First-hand beta testing, definitely love some of the McLaren gear.
Cool. Just thanks for having me, guys. This was a lot of fun.
You're welcome, Ben. When's the next race?
But this is a new world for me, so it was fun. Hopefully, I didn't make a fool out of myself, and you guys didn't ask me any tough audio questions.
I wouldn't do that to you. No, I wouldn't do that to you. What? When is the next race?
This weekend. We're right back to Austria. So
Austria.
Yeah.
Oh, yes. Good luck. Good luck. Lando,
Great luck.
what, third? And Carlos Sainz finished fifth. So, I mean, that's incredible.
Yeah, tough act to follow this weekend, but we're pushing hard.
Awesome.
Fantastic. Well, I will wish you well. Good luck this weekend, McLaren.
Thank you.
Okay, let's get it. Guys, thank you so much for joining us on our happy hour. Cheers to everyone. This is Adam with Worldwide Stereo, reminding you to listen to music every day. So long.
Awesome. Thank you.
Thanks.
See you guys.